Details have emerged over an armed robbery attack in which a 61-year-old man was killed Monday night. The 61-year-old man was shot after he had gone to buy prepaid credit in his Sampa Valley neighborhood in the Gasal district of the Greater Accra region. Komla Adum went back to the community and now reports.
Mr. Peter McKeown Anyete, he is the proprietor of the Vicar Trust School. He was actually involved in that incident which happened on Wednesday afternoon. We understand some men on motorbikes accosted them on their way from the bank. We see you are having some issue with your arm. Sorry about that. How are you feeling?
At the moment, by the grace of God, I'm good now. But the whole thing happened on Wednesday around 11 o'clock when a driver of mine went to First Atlantic Bank at Weja branch here. When we went there, we saw two gentlemen on the queue. So they asked me to come to the counter and serve me. So actually I took 5,000 Ghana cedis. And we left the bank hall. So we didn't know anything until when we were about to enter my premise or my house. Then the motor just crossed us and started shooting that we should bring the money in the envelope. So I saw the children, they are just age of between 18 to 24. So what?
So you saw them, you could identify them?
Yes, I can identify them. And they started shooting, bang, 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 bang. So we gave the envelope to them, and one of the guns shot my hand, and the other one the driver they shot his leg and arm, and we were arrested too. In fact, we are taking us to the Akaway. From Akaway they refer to Kolebu.
Okay, so where is the other guy who is your driver? Where is he and what's his condition now?
Yeah, he's at the Kolebu now, and one of the guns shot his chest, so they've made operation and then taking it from there. So he's also respond to the treatment.
Tell us about this afternoon incident. Do you suspect that you may have been trailed from the bank by these two individuals who accosted you on the motorbike?
Yes, I can say yes, because I met them in the bank. I saw them. They are too young with their what do you call it? These hairs that dreadlocks, and thinking that they are going to take money. But I took the whole blood to the bank when I was going to. They are rushing me to the hospital. I went to the bank to look. There was two gentlemen sitting down here. They had followed me to shoot me all this. So I'm going to the hospital and come. So yesterday I went there that they should check their CCTV camera and see the guys. And they said they will do that, but unless they get a letter from the head and they take on the investigation.
Has the case been reported to the police? What are police doing about it?
Yes. You know, most of the parents, most of the police children are here. So the immediately they saw, they called head office, and they arrived to this place, and our branch here too have taken the matter, and I've written my statement and everything. But the good news is that I learned they arrested two armed robbers yesterday. They are sitting on the motor, and when the police came here, they saw the gun this on the floor, so they pick it, and when they are searching the guy, they saw some gun with them, and they saw that the exactly gun bullet is what is inside this. So they have arrested the guys, and that today, if you call me, they will go for parade, and then I should come and identify them. I know them. If I get to know, I can identify them. And
how have teachers in your school been dealing with this news of this incident that happened on Wednesday afternoon? And to think that daylight afternoon, these people still go about carrying out attacks with guns?
Things have been happening to this vicinity here. 2 days ago, there was a what do you call it? A half-caste man who had been shot, and they killed him. That day, now they went to another community here. They shot a pastor too.
Yeah, Sampa Valley.
Sampa Valley. It means that there's shooting going on here. And man, luckily for me, it didn't happen to the school. It's outside the gate. So most of the children did not see. Most of the parents, teachers don't see. And the gun too is like this Christmas gun. If you hear it, you may think that it's just a Christmas toy gun, but it's one policeman who had been arrested by giving his arms to individual for operation. Just recently. So imagine those that they are protecting us. They rather giving arms to the civilians to attack us there. Then what are we, master? There's a man at the SEC now. They have been arrested there. You see. So that is why today, look at the I'm worried.
Okay, yesterday I was at Sampa Valley where residents in the area who have been terrorized by some of these robbers say they needed increased police patrols in the area. Do you think that will be able to solve a situation here at Sampa Valley? Because we know also, we've heard that there are a lot of foreigners who live around here who many of the residents suspects may be involved in carrying out some of these crimes.
Yes, you know, I'm a popular man here, so when this accident came, most of the parents, most of sympathizers, they have been here, and you look at anyone who come and visit them have something to say. That's my problem. They have testimonial to say that, look, this has happened to me. They say, hey, so all along you are keeping all this and you don't come out and voice it out that this is what we people are suffering under. So I was thinking that, look, this is the nation problem, not individual problem. People are living with armed robbers in the house, but they can't come out and say it. The parents came and look, there's a tenant in my house now, he's armed robber, but I'm afraid to say it. Right now. Yes, so we are living with them. And they know the type of work they are doing. But, you know, Ghanaians, you go to a police station and report it to them. Tomorrow, you say that your name will be that is this girl lady who has informed me. Then you to be on trouble. So this is what matter we are doing. So we want more police to come. Then sometimes when we see those running the motors, they are right to, this time they have to arrest all the motors and then search them.
So that is the very sad incident there, the narration by one of the men who narrowly, you saw him with the wound there. It was a bullet from the armed robbers. Let's get on social media and see what you're saying about this. So the post report there is about the 61-year-old man who we know was the casualty of Monday as well, including that pastor who died. That's the latest as well. He was shot after apparently he had gone to buy prepaid credit in his neighborhood. What are some of the comments? Let's go down to read some of the comments. Here, Martin King said, ECG brought these work meters all in the name of illegal connection. Instead of them to check every day for disconnections, they brought this junk meter so as they will sit there doing nothing. RIP, and may the robbers be killed this way too. In Jesus' name, he asked. Martin is saying that, and he's basically attributing what has happened to this man to ECG and their inability to do their job, he believes. Rich Banks says, too much robbery in the country. Very bad, very bad. No one knows who might be the next victim. Homeku Williams says, no money in the system, but these animals called armed robbers are not giving us a break. Link Maiga says, wrong reportage. Incident happened at Old Barrier, not Sampa Valley. Well, Link, we've been to the place and we're reporting what the residents told us. Mensa Chikata says, Operation Calm Life, where are you? Please, the robbers are at it again. Sika Heni Kofi Rich says, God has seen all of them. But we hope that will stop. And Wechi Wisdom says, okay, you're not very happy with the headline. All right, that's your comment. Nana Amani Ankra says, NDC sabotage. Oh God, that says Enoch. I see. Teddy Mal says, oh my God, such cruelty. Kobe Brown says, Ghana is working again, and you, that sounds like sarcasm there. He puts some very funny emojis there. He says, Nana for you. Bala Osman Toure says, when is 2020? All right, CT Automobile Solutions says, just sad. So let's go back to Sampa Valley. We've been speaking to a daughter of William Osman, the man whose picture you saw on the Facebook post. Is actually his grandson. He's been speaking to us about the loss of his grandfather.
So this is the home of 61-year-old William Usman, who was killed by 4 armed robbers on Monday night. According to witnesses and family sources, he had stepped out of a vehicle to purchase prepaid credits and was driving into the premises when 2 people came out of the house to meet him at the entrance, and on his way back to sit in the car, 2 others accosted him from behind, snatched his car, shot him multiple times, and left him in a pool of blood and sped away. Later on, he was taken to 2 clinics, the Akaway clinic and 1 other clinic around this area, but unfortunately he was turned away because hospital officials mentioned or noted that they were unable to treat the multiple gunshot wounds he had sustained. So he was taken to a Kolebu Teaching Hospital where he died. Grandson of a deceased, Richard Frimpong, he will tell us exactly what happened that Monday night.
I fetched water, cleaned the blood, and after that I gave him a cloth to hold on to the blood. So I went out for a taxi, took him into the taxi and went to Finney Hospital at my 11. When we got there, the hospital was closed. So we have to move back to, what do we call it? Akaway. When we got to Akaway, they told us they don't operate, they don't do bullet operation. So we should take my grandfather to Kolebu. And within 1 minute, a lady also came shouting that her father has been shot and he's bleeding. So they also told her the same thing. She should take the case to Kolebu. So my grandfather was sitting in a plastic chair. I wanted to help him stand up so that we can rush to the hospital. And he told me he can get up by himself. So he stood up and then he was able to walk. Though he was feeling pains, he was bleeding. All the khaki shorts he was wearing was soaked with blood, but he tried all he could, and then he went into the car. Midnight. Okay. They put a drip on him when I've gotten the folder, and then they asked me to be pressing the drip so that it will flow very faster. So I did that, and then the doctor said, oh, it's okay now, much has entered into the body. But he was bleeding, and even to the extent that they asked me to go for bedsheet so that they will put it on the bed. The bedsheet I was going for, they told me 1 is 12 cedis. I needed 2. And I told him, I have money on my phone, but physical money I don't have. So what he can do for me is to give it to me, and then in the morning I'll go for money and pay him. He said, no, they don't do it so. So I should go and tell the doctor so that the doctor himself will come for it.
All this while your grandfather was still sitting there bleeding?
He was still bleeding. He was still bleeding. And the doctors were just looking at him. At that time, he was sitting in a wheelchair and there's drip on him. Because I have not gotten the bed sheet, they cannot put him on the bed. Now, when I went around 10:40, and then one of the doctors called me that I should hurry up and come wherever I am. They need me. When I went, I dropped my food, put on their operation cloth with their shoe. When I went, I saw my grandfather lying down with the machine on him, and it was the machine that was breathing for him, not he himself breathing. And I saw that his sideways started turning black. It was becoming dark. So over there, I was very sorry for what has happened, and I started crying. The doctor asked me, what have I seen that made me cry? I didn't mind her, and I went out. So my uncle told me, oh, I should hold on, everything will be fine. And then I was just sitting there. 5 minutes later, they came calling my uncle and I. They took us to an office, and they told us, my grandfather is dead. Honestly speaking, I didn't take it easy over there. I wept. I asked them, are they telling me my grandfather is dead? They said, yes, he died 5 minutes ago. That means at that time when I went there to see him and I saw his face changing color, he was dead.
It's a very hard one to take. It's been a very hard one for people who live in Sampa Valley and those who live around Waja as well. The police have said that they will increase their presence there. We're trying to reach them to find out whether they made good on that. Our correspondent who went to the grounds today tried to get information from the police post there. As much as he tried, they did not give him any information. We'll be keeping our eyes on that particular story.